Back to the channel. This video we are looking at the Week 7 NFL Draftkings and Fanduel picks for tomorrow's slate. 10-gamer on Draftkings, 11 games on Fanduel. Let's go ahead and get started with some of the picks. For this week, looking at the quarterback position, you have 4 guys above 77,000, 5 including Mahomes at 7K flat. Out of all these matchups, Josh Allen against Tennessee, their defense is decent, but Buffalo should be able to put up some points, move the ball. Josh Allen's having a really good season in terms of not having any interceptions, which is very rare for him, but and he's gotten a little bit better of a wide receiving core now with Amari Cooper entering the mix. So he's a fine play. You probably have Jaden Daniels as the best option just because of the matchup against Carolina at home. He's pretty much almost always staple him in for like 20 fantasy points. I've done that every game except for one, with the upside that he gives you with his legs and with the kind of the connection that he's built with McLaurin over the last few weeks. It's a nice stack that you could go with for this weekend. Daniels and McLaurin against that Panthers secondary. I'm looking in the 6K and below range, $6,000 range. Burrow's been playing great. Cleveland, though, is a team that plays some still decent defense. Probably see a lower scoring game. Maybe the Bengals get up a little bit, so Burrow doesn't have to throw a ton. The Goff matchup against Minnesota, that's going to be a nice game to target. You can stack up both sides. Both offenses have looked good this season. Goff has great weapons, as we know. The running game has been great for them. So expect Jared Goff to throw the ball a little bit in this matchup. In a dome here in Minnesota, I think he looks like a good play. Kirk Cousins at home in a dome against Seahawks defense. Seahawks have been in some shootouts this season. And Kirk Cousins looking better as of late. The offense is looking good. They put up 38 points. There was a pick 6 involved in that Carolina game, but back-to-back games over 30 points that they have scored. And Drake London has looked really good with him the last few weeks. You can stack him, run it back with a Seattle Seahawk, like a running back if you wanted to go with Kenneth Walker or with a Lockett / Metcalf. Darnold, 62, coming off of a bye week, should be well rested against the Jets. Able to squeak by the win there, but expect him to bounce back in this type of high-scoring affair against Detroit. 62 looks fine, but I think the really good value that we have right now is Geno Smith. I believe he's leading the league in passing yards, so he's really throwing the ball. Touchdowns are low, only 6, basically 1 in every single game. That's exactly what he's done. Then he's turned the ball over a little bit with 6 picks. Gives you some upside with his legs, but against the Falcons here, Seahawks need a win. They've been losing games after getting off to a 3-0 start. Trying to get off the snide here, break their 3-game losing streak. Should be a close game, should be a high-scoring game, I think, against Atlanta. I'm going to take Geno Smith just for the pure value at $5,800. At running back, we have Saquon going back to New York to face off the Giants. Got some revenge there if you want to target him. Looks fine. I like Kyron Williams at 81. Looking a little cheaper, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker. You have James Cook in a good spot against Tennessee, just to kind of get back his carries after being off a week, so he should be well rested. And Bills, they're going to look to run the ball a little bit. Maybe they'll still try to get Cooper involved a little bit, but I don't think he'll play a full workload in his first game as a Bill, especially on hasn't had a ton of time to learn the playbook. 6K range, low 6K range, you got some really good spots here with Tony Pollard. So Tajay Spears is out, and Pollard and Spears Pollard's been getting a little bit more of the work, but Spears been taking it into his workload a little bit. Without him against the bad Bills rush defense, expect Tennessee to continue relying on the running game, get some short passes out to Pollard. Probably get a few more touches this week without Tajay Spears. So at that price tag, I like him. And then I'm going to be going with Chuba Hubbard at $6,500. Another guy that's affordable, and he's just taken over the number 1 running back in the Panthers offense. He has 4 more catches in 5 straight games, getting you, pretty much 18 plus carries 3 or 4 weeks. Only week that he didn't was against the Bears, and they were just down huge, so they had to continue throwing the ball. But he's going to get the workload. He's utilized in red zone situations. Gives you big fantasy upside. I'm going to take him against Washington. Other plays you have are Kareem Hunt. Chase Brown has taken over a little bit more of the workload. Zach Moss fumbled last game, and then they kind of went away from him. Only had 6 carries. Hasn't looked really good. Only 2 yards per carry last game. I think they'll continue starting with Chase Brown, even though the matchup's not that good. Jerome Ford is out, so you'll probably see they're expected to get back. Nick Chubb might be on a bit of a work limit. So at 6,000, probably don't want to risk him unless you're playing like a tournament. Just want to put him in a lineup or two. Over at wide receiver, a lot of good plays at the receiver position. I'm going to start off with Malik Nabers, who's back against this Eagles defense. Been bad against the pass, giving up the 7th most fantasy points to wide receivers this season. Malik Nabers going to eat up that secondary in New York here. The Giants have been playing better. They've been in close games recently. And Daniel Jones probably going to go back to just throwing the ball to Nabers as much as he can, like he did first 4 weeks of the season. Surprised if he doesn't get 100-plus yards, doesn't get into the end zone. And just with the amount of targets that he should command, pretty easy to hit his fantasy floor on DraftKings. Other picks that you have here above 8,000, probably rank it Justin Jefferson just with the matchup, then Chase, then A.J. Brown, then Amon-Ra, just because Detroit has so many weapons. Sometimes Amon-Ra is not going to have a huge game. 6 and 7K range. At 6K range, I like Drake London, $6,900 against Seattle. Utilized in red zone situations a lot. 10-plus targets, 3 straight weeks, getting you a pretty good floor of 6-plus catches. Matchup here against Seattle's defense. Kirk Cousins has been looking better. If you want to stack him with Drake London, I think that's fine. You don't even need to stack. If you don't want to, London should command some targets, should get a good amount of looks to pay off his value, and I like the price tag a lot. Other picks are McLaurin that I like. Could look to like DK Metcalf at 68. Tank Dell getting more volume without Nico Collins. T. Higgins, you can take a shot. He's probably not going to get too much ownership. And then one of the better value picks that we have here is $4,000 for Juju Smith-Schuster to round out the DraftKings core picks. Not having Rashee Rice is a big blow for the Chiefs. Offense, obviously, and last game we saw Smith run a lot of routes, get targeted 7 times, break off the big 50-yard one. Just getting targets and some short catches is going to hit his fantasy at this price tag. 7% of snaps last week, and at this price tag is just cheap. I like the value that he can give you. Tight end, Brock Bowers not having Devontae Adams anymore, and then Jacoby Myers is doubtful, so you expect them to continue looking at Brock Bowers' way a lot. Back-to-back games with 10-plus targets. I like him. I like Kelsey. Could be a week to pay up at tight end if you can afford it. And then Kittle has been a touchdown machine recently. And then for the value pick is probably like Njoku at 41, shredding Wade Cooper, going to become Deshaun Watson's favorite and go-to guy probably for the rest of the season. Defense looking cheap. The Giants are only $2,500. Could be a fine value pick. Want to pay up a little bit more. You got the turnover-prone Richardson against the Dolphins defense. And then you got the Colts defense at 32 I like against still missing Tua on the Dolphins side. So that's what I got over on DraftKings. On FanDuel, pretty similar picks. I just went with Kirk Cousins at 72 just because he's so cheap. Like the spot at home. Think he definitely gives you some touchdown upside. I'm pairing him with Drake London at 75. I like Nabers, 83. Especially when you got Brown and Chase and Jefferson, much more expensive than Nabers. Gives you similar upside at home against the Eagles. Bad defense. And then I'm going with McLaurin at 72 just because in that price range, I think he gives you a lot of upside. Garrett Wilson, tougher spot, and then Devontae Adams is now in the mix, so he's going to lose some volume. Tank Dell, Devontae, still his first game. Could be worth a shot at 69, but I'm going to take McLaurin and just continue riding the hot hand in the Washington, in terms of the Washington offense, and he's been targeted a lot, getting into the end zone and looking to get the hands in his ball as much as they can. Not really any other receivers that command a lot of volume for the Commanders. So that's what I got for this week. Best of luck if you are going to be using some of these picks. Let me know what other players that you have in mind. Best of luck, and I will catch you all next time.